Let's say you're in some serious need of some cash. It's the holiday season, you've got a workplace gift exchange coming up, your mom just asked for a $280 nutcracker. Seriously, why does the nutcracker need LED lights? And if you're like me, then curiosity has you wondering what Pokemon have earned the most money. In this video, we'll explore the Pokemon that have topped the earning charts in competitive play. Let's dive in.
The Pokemon Company awarded over $2 million in prize money during the 2024 World Championships to competitors.
Now, if you search Pokemon earnings over time, you'll probably land on limitlessvgc.com. This site has tracked this data for over a decade. However, there's a hitch. The value of $1 wasn't the same 15 years ago as it is today. Inflation, right? Knowing how much a Pokemon has earned only really matters if we understand the buying power behind those numbers. So to spice things up, I've adjusted the earnings of the highest paid Pokemon to today's dollars. Then I re-ranked them to give a clearer picture of what these Pokemon truly earned in the throes of competition. Kicking off our list at number 10 is a fan favorite, Cantonian Arcanine. Arcanine's earliest notable earnings trace back to the 2015 Melbourne Regional Championship in Australia, where it was piloted by trainer Thomas Selby to an 11th place finish. As the original bulky fire type with Intimidate, Arcanine has been a top choice with its high damaging moves like Flare Blitz and a suite of excellent support moves like Will-O-Wisp and Snarl. It often anchors Fire Water Grass cores in many teams. While it's tough to choose just one standout performance, one memorable showing was by Chupacross at the first Scarlet and Violet VGC event in January 2023, where he took Arcanine all the way to the finals, making it at one point the best performing fire-type Pokemon in the game's history. When adjusted for inflation, Arcanine's total earnings equal $310,203.33. With that kind of cash, this Pokemon could snag a V12 Ferrari GT C4 Lusso, 84 2024 MacBook Pro laptops, or 1,107 giant LED nutcrackers. This makes it hard to believe that Arcanine isn't a legendary beast. Now, while Arcanine may not be a true legendary Pokemon, the one at our number 9 spot certainly is. Claiming the title of the 9th highest earning Pokemon of all time is Tornadus. Known as the premier Tailwind setter, Tornadus has made a name for itself with its prankster ability, which gives status moves increased priority. Tornadus stormed into the VGC scene during the 2011 Spain Nationals. Unlike many Pokemon that have had their moment as the top dog, top bird, top genie, Tornadus belongs to a rare breed of Pokemon that seem to have improved over time. With the introduction of the Covert Cloak, Tornadus' ability to set up crucial status moves has become more reliable than ever. Furthermore, Tornadus has received a significant boost with its new move, Bleakwind Storm, which inflicts substantial damage to Pokemon that typically resist attacks from Tornadus' most common partners like Kyogre and Urshifu Rapid Strike. Tornadus has amassed an adjusted earnings of $326,762.33. Enough to buy a 2-bedroom condo in Brooklyn, New York, 16 Harley-Davidson Pan American 1250 motorcycles, or 1,167 giant LED nutcrackers. Now, I might have been joking about Tornadus, but I genuinely have no clue what this next Pokemon is supposed to be. Moving on to the 8th place, we have one of the most storied Pokemon in this entire list, Tapu Koko. A fun fact, the first shiny legendary Pokemon I ever caught in Pokemon Go was a Tapu Koko that I caught while eating at a place called Genki Sushi in Japan. Tapu Koko burst onto the VG scene in 2016, clinching its first ever international victory in London, skillfully piloted by Miguel Martí de la Torre. Known for delivering heavy fairy and electric type damage, Tapu Koko was a staple on nearly every championship team during its debut year. Its ability to set up electric terrain not only boosted its electric attacks, but also countered sleep effects, drastically reducing Amoonguss usage in 2017. Remarkably, Tapu Koko is the only Tapu Pokemon to crack the top 10, despite the significant utility of other terrain abilities. To date, Tapu Koko has amassed an earning of $337,261.60, equivalent to the cost of 3 Tesla Model S cars, 146 snack vending machines, or 1,204 giant LED nutcrackers. Not to be outdone, Iron Hands usurped Tapu Koko as the highest earning electric type in VGC history. ranking 7th overall. Iron Hands made a spectacular debut at the 2023 Orlando Regional Championship, where it was piloted by Ashton Cox. Although it didn't clinch a win that day, Iron Hands dominated the rest of the 2023 season and much of 2024, becoming the only Paradox Pokemon to win every World Championship since its introduction. Its robust defense and attack stats make Iron Hands a formidable opponent, tough to take down, especially when utilizing moves like Fake Out and Drain Punch to minimize damage from foes. Iron Hands stands out not only as the top electric type Pokemon of 2023, but also as the most successful grass type of the year. Jokes aside, in terms of earning, Iron Hands has amassed an adjusted total of $378,250.37. That's enough to buy a Cunningham 7-2 semi-concert grand piano, 900 weekend park hopper passes at Disneyland, or a couple salted pretzels in one of their parks, or 1,350 giant LED nutcrackers. You know what doesn't cost as much as 1,300? Transition. Look. It took me weeks to make this video. I think I had to put together like 600 lines of data and make just as many calculations. And I did it all because I find this topic fascinating. And if you've made it this far into this video, you probably do too. So if you're enjoying this niche VGC type content, please consider giving the video a like and maybe even subscribing. Thank you. This next Pokemon is particularly noteworthy due to the significant discrepancy between its reported earnings and those adjusted for inflation. It's the top performing flying type Pokemon on our list and the 6th highest earner in VGC history, Landorus Therian. Known for its use of the Intimidate ability, Landorus Therian began its VGC journey in the Italy Nationals in March 2013. Oh boy, that footage looks ancient. With its ability to use the strategic pivoting move U-turn and its immunity to both ground and electric type moves, Landorus Therian initially served as a disruptive force, swooping into the battle, dealing massive damage and then pivoting out just when you thought you had it cornered. And massive is a good way to describe this Pokemon's damage output, with a staggering 145 base attack and moves like Stomping Tantrum and Rock Slide. I think one of the craziest moments involving Landorus Therian was in the 2023 World Championship match between Wolf Glick and Shiliang Tang, where the combined rock slides from Hisui and Arcanine and Landorus managed to flinch lock Wolf out of the entire tournament. After adjusting for inflation, Landorus Therian's total earnings amount to $394,303.96, which could buy you a Paytech Philip Nautilus 5711 luxury watch, 27 Matrix 300 RTK commercial drones, or 1,408 giant LED nutcrackers. Now, we've reached the top 5 highest earning Pokemon in the entire history of competitive play. And before we dive deeper, take a moment to guess which Pokemon might be in these spots and let me know if you guessed right. I'll also share what my guesses were in the comment section. Claiming the number 5 spot is arguably the most successful grass type starter ever, Rillaboom. For a Pokemon that debuted just one generation ago, its usage rates are staggering, and there's good reason for that. Whenever it enters into battle, Rillaboom sets up grassy terrain, effectively giving itself a built-in life orb boost for grass-type attacks, enhancing its damage output more than most would anticipate. But Rillaboom's success isn't due to its damage capabilities alone. It boasts one of the best toolkits in the game: Fake Out to flinch opponents, Taunt to shut down setups, and Hyper Voice. I don't know why you would ever use Hyper Voice, but it has it. Rillaboom dominated nearly every tournament it was eligible for in its debut year of 2022. Over its short yet incredibly successful career, Rillaboom has amassed a total earnings of $463,288.92, giving it the spending power to purchase a GIA certified 26 karat diamond, 11 bottles of Leroy Musingi Grand Cru aged for 10 years, or 1,654 giant LED nutcrackers. Between the diamonds and the wine, Rillaboom is like shaping up to be quite the high roller.
Who is that?
In the 4th spot, out-earning Rillaboom by over $100,000, comes the embodiment of power creep itself, Urshifu Rapid Strike. I bet Urshifu's placement as 4th is surprising to some people. I personally thought it might crack the top 3. However, this doesn't diminish its success in any way. Urshifu Rapid Strike and its Single Strike counterpart are the only Pokemon capable of passively bypassing Protect with their ability Unseen Fist. A controversial ability to say the least, because many feel that it disrupts the game's balance. Unlike its Single Strike sibling, Rapid Strike Urshifu can circumvent Focus Sash and abilities like Sturdy, which typically prevent one-hit KOs, thanks to its attack Surging Strikes. To underscore just how pivotal this Pokemon has been, when Urshifu Rapid Strike was introduced into Scarlet and Violet in 2023, it not only featured on both finalist teams at the World Championship, but it's also clinched nearly every tournament it's entered, with a few exceptions. Urshifu Rapid Strike's total earnings are a staggering $585,595.73, granting it the financial firepower to purchase a Piper Archer LX single-engine aircraft, 78 Malayan Tigers. That is terrifying. That would be a terrifying way to spend Urshifu's money. Or 2,091 giant LED nutcrackers. Now, breaking into the top 3 highest earning Pokemon of all time, we begin with Fluttermane, the highest earning ghost and fire type Pokemon on this entire list. Fluttermane made its VGC debut with Regulation B in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, first appearing at the 2023 Orlando Regionals, where, like many on this list, it was piloted to a first place championship finish. Its exceptional stat distribution is immediately apparent. I mean, look at this. Can you think of a more min-maxed Pokemon? It's like Fluttermane was designed to speedrun VGC competitions. With the ability Photosynthesis, Fluttermane can instantly boost any of its already formidable stats whenever it enters into battle. Armed with moves like Dazzling Gleam and Shadow Ball, it can deal neutral damage to any Pokemon type in the entire game. Interestingly, this Pokemon can learn Trick Room. Nobody is using Trick Room is what I would like to say, but that's a lie for some reason. Despite its relatively short history, Fluttermane has already amassed a total earnings of $669,554.64. That's the same purchasing power needed to buy 2 of these houses. I'm not even joking, I looked it up. It's the same purchasing power needed to buy 2 of these houses. 6 Malibu M220s or 2,391 giant LED nutcrackers. This next Pokemon evokes quite a bit of emotion for me. It's the boogeyman under my bed, a testament, I think, to a forsaken world. It's Amoonguss. Much like Tornadus, Amoongus's record of earnings also began at the 2011 Spain Nationals, and since then it's reigned as the premier user of Spore, the only sleep move with 100% accuracy. Seriously, what's going on with Spain? Back in the early days, grass Pokemon weren't immune to powder-based moves, forcing players to create increasingly faster Amoonguss to put their opponent's Amoonguss to sleep first. I've actually done a full video on the history of Amoonguss. It is one of the first history videos I've ever made. It may not be as polished as my current work, but it is historically accurate, so maybe check that out. In short, Amoonguss with its typing and surprisingly high defensive stats is much bulkier than it appears. This bulk, coupled with one of the most disruptive move pools in the game, has made Amoonguss a consistent top contender. In fact, since 2014, Amoonguss has featured in at least one of the top 4 teams at every World Championship except for 2017. Amoonguss's staggering adjusted earnings totals $681,703.75. That's the equivalent to owning Thackeray's luxury sail yacht, the Aristil, 973 PlayStation 5 Pro consoles, or, and hear me out, 2,424 giant LED nutcrackers. Before we unveil the highest earning Pokemon of all time, I want to highlight a few honorable mentions. The first mention concerns restricted Pokemon like Palkia or Mewtwo, which are only available during select seasons every few years. The highest earning restricted Pokemon is none other than Kyogre, Not only is Kyogre the highest earning restricted Pokemon, but it also has the greatest disparity between its reported and adjusted earnings, soaring from $206,750 to $268,006.72. What this tells me is that Kyogre has been highly successful competitively for many years. Kyogre first made waves at the 2010 UK Nationals on the 4th place team, maintaining a strong competitive presence ever since. However, there's a caveat with our data, and it's super apparent with this Pokemon. Our main source of data, limitlessvgc.com, primarily tracks reported earnings, which were much harder to verify before 2016. Despite exhaustive searches, reaching out to other VGC experts, and even invoking the Dark Lord Giratina, I've found it nearly impossible to complete some of these records. While this likely doesn't change our top rankings, keep in mind some Pokemon might have been even more successful than reported. Next, let's talk about Qianpao, the highest earning Treasure of Ruin Pokemon and the top earner amongst ice types, bringing in an impressive $304,070.11. This total is just $6,000 shy of the number 10 Pokemon Arcanine. But remember, Arcanine has had 5 more years worth of seasons in the competitive scene than our Arctic friend. Qianpao has shown remarkable versatility on almost any team. Given a few more seasons, I have no doubt we'll see this Pokemon crack into the top 10. Lastly, Heatran deserves a mention here. Not only is it the highest earning Steel type, but it also rivals Landorus, Therian, and Amoonguss in terms of frequent earning entries, indicating that TBC often includes Heatran in its games, and also suggesting that whenever Heatran is available, it consistently manages to place well. And this is despite the significant power creep since its major debut at the 2012 World Championships, where it was piloted by Wolf Glick. It's time for the final entry on our list. The King, the highest earning Pokemon in all of history, the top dog, or should I say, cat? Incineroar. Let's be honest, this wasn't much of a surprise. He's in the thumbnail. Everyone in the VGC community knows that this Pokemon is a major earner, and by the end of the season, Incineroar will probably be the first Pokemon to become a millionaire off of its competitions alone.
Indeed, and if you look at all the wins that Incineroar has been able to get, I believe if you tally up all the winnings from all the players, Incineroar is the richest Pokemon in the entire Pokedex.
It's making it rain!
Indeed.
Yet another user of the ability Intimidate, Incineroar has surpassed Arcanine as the go-to fire-type utility Pokemon in every season it's been available. With impressive bulk, trainers have traditionally used moves like U-Turn, Parting Shot, and Fake Out to whittle down opposing teams' damage output. But don't underestimate Incineroar's ability to dish out the hurt. Just look at these stats. With same type attack bonus on powerful moves like Knock Off and Flare Blitz, this Pokemon can really dish it out as well as it can take it. Honestly, I could make a full 30-minute video on this Pokemon alone, but it's already been done. Incineroar's adjusted earnings total a staggering $849,520.78. That is enough to buy a private Caribbean island off the coast of the Bahamas, 3 Lamborghini Evo RWD Spiders, 169 tickets to fly around the circumference of the Earth, 4 Disneyland Park pretzels, or 3,034 giant LED nutcrackers. With all that said and done, I just want to say thank you, future champ, for an amazing year of YouTube and Pokemon. I know this year has been tough for a lot of you, and I hope my videos brought you some moments of happiness and fun with this game that we all love. So here's me wishing you the very best in the new year, and for the last time in 2024, thanks for watching.
Pika pika.